Hey everyone, gonna do a little narrating story today. This is Poacher Wars. It was Poacher Battle, now it's escalated into a war. What you see here, a poacher put that up. He's been poaching here for about the last 8 or 9 years. He had permission to hunt here back in 2013, and he paid the owner, who we bought the property from, $1,000 just to check it out for a season and see if he wanted to use it. So the guy never heard from him again. Tried calling him, figured, okay, he's not here anymore. Well, when we started touring the property last February, this is supposed to be abandoned farmland with no structures. So I saw this, took a picture and sent it to the owner and said, what's this? And he got right back to me and said, I don't know, what is that? So long story short, he was furious that the poacher was here the whole time. And there's that. And I've so far found 3 tree stands. When we came through last year, there were trail cams up over salt licks and mineral blocks. Right over there. Which is an absolute no-no hunting in New York. The owner tried to get in touch with him when we were negotiating for the property and could not. Had his lawyer try to get in touch with him officially, could not. So he said to me, everything transfers with the property, it's yours. So we closed months later, and about 2 weeks ago, I get the rudest phone call I've ever had in my life. And it's Tony R. I'll fill you in his whole name and everything when this is all done and in the bag. So I'm not going to scum him out until this is official. And he called me and introduced himself, and I went to say my name, and he just lit right in, told me, I got stuff on my land that's his, and it's coming out of here one way or the other, so I need to work with him. And I just said, whoa, I don't know who you are or who you think you're talking to, but you will never set foot on this property. You'll never take anything off it. So he scummed me out for 3-4 minutes. I tried to explain to him, listen to it, I sent you a registered letter. You didn't take possession of the letter, and I was giving you 3 weeks before we closed to come get your stuff off, which I thought was extremely generous, seeing as how you're a poacher. And the current owner was willing to just pass this all stuff on to me. But I don't have any ownership of what happened before we own this place. So I'm a hunter, and this guy obviously passionate about what he does, even though he doesn't play by the rules. So I figured, well, I'll try to give him his stuff back. Well, when I couldn't get in touch with him, we just closed, said the hell with it. So when he called me up, called me every name in the book, told me I'm stealing his property, I tried to explain to him with the measures we took to try to get in touch with him. He was having none of it, so I hung up on him. Well, he called the sheriff that he said he was going to do. He called the DEC that he said he was going to do. He said he was going to sue my ass, and that was just going to be the beginning, that I was going to have all kinds of problems. Okay, talk's cheap. So a few days later, Friday, I'm working, I look up, and there's a sheriff standing there outside where I'm working. And I say, hey, how you doing? So he introduces himself, says he's got a call from Tony R. and wants to know what's going on. So I explained the whole thing to him. He said, would I be amenable to returning just the blind to him? Because the man said I could have everything else. He just wants his tower blind back. And I paused. I said, I might be. So the guy's just an SOB. He's got to get rid of that. And he will not come on the property because he's promised to sue me. I'm not going to have him walk here and then scream, I just hurt my back. Not going to go through that. So I told him I'd get in touch with my lawyer, decide what to do, and get in touch with Tony R. and let him know what I decided. He said, okay, thanks. He left. 2 days later, I look up. There's a DEC guy pulling around through our field. And he's in his SUV. And I had talked to him back in April. I called the DEC, and that tower blind and this entire field, everything down here we're on a valley floor right now, is New York State DEC wetlands. Some of it is federal wetlands. through those trees, 6/10 of a mile that way is the Susquehanna River. So we're in that watershed, and just all that scruff that the tower is adjacent to is moving water, and that's a 3/4 mile long beaver complex that goes all the way out to the river. You can't put anything with 100 feet of that water. You can't put any kind of foundation. The term is you can't disturb the aggregate that keeps everything out of the ground. You can't put pylons in there specifically, they tell you. We looked all this up when we were researching the property. We spent 3 months researching what we had, what we could develop, what we couldn't. Of course, we do everything by the book. Mr. R did not care about any of this if he knew. So I wanted to get in touch with the DEC and find out, once we're the owners, we have a structure that's not supposed to be here, that's on wetlands, what do we do? So he said, we would give you some time, but you gotta get it out of there. And I told him about the problem with the poacher, and he knows the guy. And he said that that's surprising because he's told me the whole time he had permission to be here and he's supposed to be watching the property, etc. That's not the case. So I got in touch with the owner and had been relaying all this, and the man was pretty mad. He called the DEC up, told them that that man, Tony R, is prohibited from this property, not supposed to be here, not supposed to be hunting. He wants him off his property, doesn't want him here ever again. So this was the very end of April. The DEC came down the day before turkey season started to check things out. They drove through, didn't see anything, called me, said, hey, we checked things out, we saw fresh tire tracks, but we didn't see anything else. I told them where the mineral block was, and they checked that out. He was not happy at all that that was going on. So he informed me, we're going to come down here tomorrow morning before first light. We're going to wait for this guy because he loves turkey hunting. And if he shows up, we're going to arrest him. I got a call from a neighbor who we got to know. He lives right next door that day, the day before turkey season started, and said, hey, we saw the DEC on your property earlier today, and 15 minutes later, after they left, we saw Tony R's truck pull down there, and 10 minutes later, he flew out of there like he was on fire. It's like, huh. So I'm sure he came down here, checked his trail cam, saw the DEC SUV, and boogied. He didn't come back. He didn't come back all season. He never hunted here. So I relayed all this to both officers, the whole story, when they showed up, and told them, this guy's dirty. I'm not going to deal with him. He's rude as hell. I was going to maybe help him out, if he probably apologized, acted like a decent human being. But he sickened law enforcement on me and promising to sue me, so no, we'll go that way instead. So Mr. Poacher calls me back up. I refused to answer and just sent him a text. I will only communicate with you in writing because of your temper. So we start exchanging, and he's going to get himself a restraining order. He says he wants to meet and solve this man to man, and hopefully we can do it peacefully. And he just went on and on and on. All in writing, just a dumbass. The reason I'm even taking time to tell this story is people never cease to amaze me. This man is poaching his ass off, hunting illegally, using lures, and then has the nerve to scum me out and start harassing me and call the DEC and call the sheriffs on me. So I told both guys, and the DC guy says, he was not happy at all when he found out the extent that the owner had gone to deal with this guy. So he knows where he lives, he knows where he hangs out. He said, I'm going to go get in touch with him. I'm going to tell him, don't you ever call me again. I guess he called him, he asked for DE's help repeatedly, because there were people coming out of the property all the time. We're adjacent to a state forest, and he was running into problems with other poachers. It's the fox guarding the hen house, basically. So he said, I'm going to go find him. I'm going to tell him, don't you ever call me again. And if I ever get a call about you, I'm going to come and arrest you. So I like to hear that. Yeah, that makes me feel good. Good. F you, dude. So he sent me a couple more texts and I just not responding. So we'll see where this goes from here. I'm imagining sooner than later I'm going to get notice of a lawsuit unless he tries to do something different than going through legal means. So we'll see. So there we are. There's the Poacher Wars. You're all caught up. The DEC's involved, the sheriff's involved, and I got the dumbest poacher in the world trying to mess with me. Okay? Stay tuned. I'll keep you in touch next time something happens. This is Keith from the Coronia Homestead. Nothing but fun, man. See ya.